In this video, you learn how to add lead guitar parts to the chord progressions you play on guitar. These are commonly known as rhythm fills, and they're a great way to add interest and sophistication to your rhythm guitar playing. Hi, this is Simon Candy from acousticguitarlessonsonline.net, and in this video, I sit down with rhythm guitar specialist Mark Turko to talk about and show you how you can get started using rhythm fills in your guitar playing. This is where rhythm guitar meets lead guitar. Think of players like Jimi Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan, or John Mayer for great examples of guitarists who use rhythm fills extensively throughout their playing. In this video, you learn the easiest way to get started with rhythm fills. We'll also show you one of the most important elements when it comes to playing rhythm fills that is so often overlooked. Plus, we'll show you an insanely simple thing you can do to get twice the use out of every rhythm fill you learn, effectively doubling the amount of rhythm fills you have under your fingers. So let's get to it. As I said in the introduction, we're going to be talking specifically about adding riffs and fills into our chord progressions. So perhaps to start, we can kind of define what that is. Some people might be sitting here thinking, what the hell are you talking about? So can you kind of in a nutshell, or however you like, sort of give us your view on what we mean by, adding riffs and fills, playing, riffs and fills in between the chords of a progression?
Sure. I think in my own personal definition, it's that other stuff that happens when you're not strumming a chord. Basically, that's it. I mean, like in the super simplest term, if you're a guitar player and somebody's just not strumming chords straight through until the next chord and there's other stuff going on, that's exactly what we're talking about. It can be a lot of different things. It can be single notes. You could be playing two notes. You could be playing triads. Basically, if you just don't hear straight strumming until the next chord and there's other stuff going on, that's what we're talking about.
Could you give us perhaps a basic demo of that?
Sure, absolutely. So, I mean, if we were just going to go simply from like an A minor to a D minor chord, and we were just going to play it, 4 beats each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Instead of just letting that carry through or ring totally, you could simply just add some notes. Single notes. I'll do single notes. Mistakes aside, that's the point I'm trying to make. So that's stuff that you hear all the time going on.
To begin, riffs and fills, for anyone who might be confused, it's one and the same. If we say, the riff is filling the gap between the chords. So in case anyone is wondering, hang on, what's a riff, what's a fill? It's one and the same. Often these are referred to as rhythm fills, or at least in my experience, I always hear them referred to as rhythm fills, because I guess you're using riffs to fill between chords, and you're playing rhythm and so forth. So you're not sort of going full out playing lead guitar, of course. You're still holding up the rhythm end, whatever context in which you're playing, but you're certainly adding these lead guitar parts in between.
Because it's really a simple concept. You could play anything that you want. You could play single notes. You could play 2 notes at a time. Just as long as those 2 notes that you're playing are in key, you could do anything you want to do. We could do the same for 3 notes, 4 notes, even 5 notes. It doesn't really matter. But I think the big question is how do I know if it's in key or not? So that's where you need to know several things. But you can get away with just knowing one of the several things to get you started. So either you need to know a scale, at least just one that's in the correct key, or you need to know triads across meaning 3-string, 3-note chords across your guitar. So one or the other. If you know both, it's going to be better, but one or the other will definitely get you started.
Where would you recommend to start? So you talk about the pentatonic would be probably where you
let's start with the minor pentatonic position 1, because that's Very easy to learn. Some people learn the major, but the minor is that box pattern everybody always talks about. So in my opinion, that is the simpler of the two patterns. So let's make the assumption that you do know that one. So if we're going to be playing anything in a particular key, we'll pick, like I did before, the key of A minor. So that minor pentatonic box pattern will happen on the 5th fret. So as long as you know that pattern, and that if we play it on the 5th fret, we're playing our minor pentatonic in the key of A minor. So it doesn't matter what your chord progression is. As long as the whole chord progression is in the key of A minor, you can use any one of those notes. That's all that I did before when I did my quick little demonstration. To keep it super, super, super simple, you could easily just take the 2 middle strings or the 2 skinny strings or your 2 thick strings and just use those 2 strings only. Don't think you have to use all of it, because you don't have enough time anyways to use all of the notes in the scale, because there is timing involved and you need to get back to playing with chords. But you could simply just pick 4 notes on 2 strings, and you can just alternate between your chords and any combination of those 4 notes. That's a super, super, super easy way to get started.
We've got a question here just asking, can Mark show what he's describing? So exactly that process you just spoke about, can you just walk us through that? So
absolutely. So here's our A minor chord, 5-string A minor chord, first position. Here's my A minor pentatonic scale. And all I'm going to do is use the middle 2 strings. There's only 4 notes. Those are my choice of notes that I'm going to play. So I'm going to strum the A minor chord. I'm going to play a combination of only those 4 notes in time so I can get to the D minor chord next. So it'll be... If you just think of it in terms of like, I'm only going to worry about this pair of strings, 2 strings at a time, you don't have to worry about what am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? If you just focus in just on 2 strings at a time, it actually makes it a lot easier.
There's a good question here. Can you use the minor pentatonic scale in a major key, or must you use the major pentatonic when you're in a major key? You can use the minor, so everything Mark has suggested here with the minor pentatonic scale can use over a minor chord or in a minor key. If you take any of those riffs that you come up with and you move them down 3 frets, now you got A major, right? So this is the great thing about pentatonic. If I am playing A minor pentatonic here and anything, so our little rhythm fill over A minor, if I'm in the key of A major, I can use all those ideas. I've just got to move them down 3 frets, okay? And it converts it into major. So don't worry about why that is at this point. It's just how it works. Let's just say that, okay? So anything that is in a minor key, you move it down 3 frets. You may have to possibly alter maybe the note you finish on. You know, you might need to adapt it a little bit. Not necessarily the exact riff will work. Most times it can, but certainly, you know, it's just a matter of, you know, finishing on one other note, a different note other than perhaps the one you did in the minor context. This is great, right? Because basically every time you learn a riff in the minor pentatonic scale, you've learned a major riff too. So you double up straight away. And I think the other thing here with our rhythm fills and the whole concept of this that I often see is not, you know, you go to YouTube or somewhere and someone's given a lesson on fills and they'll show you a whole lot of cool fills and here's one doing this, here's one doing that, this is in the style of Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix, this one's using sex, whatever. And that's all well and good and you can learn all these cool fills, but you've got to be able to put them in to a chord progression, keep the chord progression going, keep your time, awareness of time. So I think, you know, a big, really foundational thing with this is awareness of time. Just get used to coming in and out of a chord or a chord progression, maybe a single chord to start with, so it keeps it simple. So let's say you've got like an E chord and you're strumming, so set up a time. Don't just strum randomly and play in a sort of rubato way. Set your timer, 2, 3, and 4, and a 1, 2, 3. And what you want to do is come in at different points with a fill, but come back to your chord and keep that groove going the whole time. The most important thing is keeping your time. So we're not trying to do any fancy fill or anything like that. You could almost just, whatever you do, you can almost just, I kind of think of it as like a placeholder. It's holding the place for where you can then throw in some little cool riff or rhythmic variation of what you're doing to make it sound a bit more musical. But the purpose of this is not to come out with cool sounding fills, it's to build your sense of awareness of time and being able to get back to your chord and know exactly where you are, because it won't always necessarily be on the one. I'm going to play the E major chord, so I will be doing little fills, you know, based on the E major pentatonic. So again, E minor is at the 12th fret, move down 3 frets, there's E major. So I've got my spot. So I might start with 1.5 bars on E and half bar, 2, 3, and 4, and a 1, 2, and a 2, 3, and 4, and a 1, 2, and a. Right, so I'm just doing 1.5 bars on E, half bar fill. But I could change that. Maybe then let's say if I do half a bar on each. Now, this isn't necessarily going to sound really musical. This is okay. It's for the purpose of the training of your awareness of time and being able to come in and out of the chord and fill at different points. 1, 2, and a. So half bar E and half bar fill. Right, now I'm doing probably a little bit more on the fills than what you need to. So if you could keep it really simple, because again, your focus is on time. You can make it sound better later, right? Or work on that separately. So even if I did it more simply with the fill. So, and this time I'll do a bar on each. Okay, so I'm going to change it up again. So first off, it was 1.5 bars chord, half bar fill. I was just doing half bar chord, half bar fill. Now I'm going to do 1 bar chord, 1 bar fill. Okay, so I'm changing up the mix, if you like, but I'll keep it much simpler this time. 1, 2, 3, and 4, then 2, 3, 4, and a 1, 2. So I'm just really playing on the beat with the fill. 2, 3, 4, and I know there I can put in some little cool fill when I'm, more up with the time. But real simple. That was 1.5 bars to a half bar that time. And 4 and a. You can then sort of branch out to just randomly at any point switching between the two, but keeping a sense of where that one is, where that beat is, and where the one is. So let me see if I can just demonstrate that quickly. So that'd be like 1, sort of set up your groove first. 1, so you've got a good feel of where your tempo, 2, 3, and 4, and a 1. So you just want to randomly come in and out. So 1, 2. 2, 3, and 4, and a 1, 2. 2, 3, and 4, and a 1, 2, and a 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and a 1, 2, 3, and 4, and a 1, and a 1, 2, right? So you're keeping the groove. Now, at some point there, I know I missed a beat, so it is challenging to do, and it's not that you're necessarily going to be back and forth sort of like that. That's a little bit sort of, random sounding, but the point is being able to keep, your awareness of the beat, your sense of the beat as you're switching between rhythm and lead. If you like this video, then you will love this ebook audio I've created for you called Awesome Acoustic Rhythm Techniques that will transform the way you play your guitar. In this ebook, I take you through one of the most common chord progressions in music. What's not so common are the approaches we will apply to this progression. You learn how to use embellishments and extensions to decorate the progressions you play, much like a pianist would, resulting in very cool, unique, and sophisticated sounding music. You also learn great ways to play rhythm fills that can punctuate the space between your chord changes. This is much like the rhythm guitar playing of Jimi Hendrix. So click the link in the description below this video and download your free ebook audio, Awesome Acoustic Rhythm Techniques that will transform the way you play your guitar. Let me know in the comments below what acoustic guitar topics you would like to see covered in future videos. I read all your comments. I love hearing from you, so don't be shy, drop us a line. If you like this video, then hit that like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, and of course hit the all-important notification bell button, therefore YouTube can tell you when I've released a new video. This is Simon Candy from acousticguitarlessonsonline.net. As always, thank you for being here. I really appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.